Welcome to day 19 of our Inktober challenge. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Kelly Bluen. I am a certified Zentangle teacher, and we have already completed 18 days of this challenge. And maybe it's October 19th and you have followed along every day. Maybe it's November or December or the following year. It's okay. I'm just so happy that you are here. So today I've got my compilation piece with the first 18 tangles on it. I've got my micron pen, graphite pencil, and a blending tool, and my 2" by 2" bijou tiles. These are from Zentangle.com. The paper is an 8.5 by 11 piece of white cardstock. Okay. So today's tangle is another classic one from the Zentangle headquarters. It is called Mirth. It's beautiful, it's organic, and if you look online, there are so many variations and ways to embellish this one. I think you're going to enjoy it. Okay, I'm going to pick up my pen and turn this over. All right, so Mirth begins with just sort of a big blob, just kind of an oval shape, but it's going to have some bump, kind of some bumpy edges. And I like to start with a bumpy edge up here first. And then I just kind of go around like that. But I like having the bumpy edge towards the top corner. That's going to help guide our drawing today. All right. Okay, using that little bump as a reference, I'm going to put a curved shape in the middle of this piece here, just like that, like a little smile. Okay, then we're going to make a line down the center. And then we're going to thicken this top edge here. So to do that, I'm going to make a little curve that comes down into the line, and then a little curve on the other side like that, and then I'm going to fill it in. And you want a nice, smooth transition. I'm going to do another line, and this one's going to curve a little bit and come down into this middle. I'm going to do it on both sides. And then we want to thicken that one as well. This one I'm just going to thicken more to the right. And this one I'll thicken a little bit more to the left. And I'm going to do another one on each side, coming down into that little curve. I'm going to thicken this one. I'm going to thicken it a little bit more on the right hand side, and this one a little bit more on the left. And I'm going to go ahead and do one more on each side. And if your little C shape down here isn't wide enough, you can stop doing these, or you can widen this out a little bit. There we go. All right, once we have all of those done, we want to take this little C shape and we want to curve it around so it comes in to the sides, and then we want to ink in that area. So now it looks like these little pieces are coming up out of a hole in the center. I love the Zentangle originals or the Zentangle ones from the headquarters because they're non-representational, and it's just the idea of making lines and embellishing them and feeling that calm without feeling like you have to create something that looks like an object. There's so much forgiveness in that. Okay, now I'm going to come from the side here. I'm going to come from like the top of this little dark area, and I'm going to give it kind of a mustache on each side. So I kind of go up and then down, up and then down. And then we're going to thicken this by making that little triangle. We come up from each side and ink it in, and same thing over here. And now we continue down. And it's nice when your lines have a little bit of a curve. You can kind of play around with that. And we want to make sure these don't just look like a row of triangles. We want them to sort of swoop up in there. Be a nice soft transition. And do some on this side. Just enjoying adding that ink to your paper. So if you look this up on the internet, or if you go to the Mosaic app, which is the app for Zentanglers that can post their work on there. It's a wonderful app. You get so many ideas, and you can type in the tangle. So you could type in Mirth, and it'll show you what everybody else has done and tagged as Mirth. And it's amazing how you can take one idea like this and people just get so creative. Okay, before I talk more, I'm going to show you the last part here. These two sections here, we're just going to make them come out of the sides. So they don't even really have to come out of the center, that dark area. They can just come across the sides like this. And if you want, you can put all of your lines in, and then you can thicken. Okay. So one of the things that people do with this is draw it kind of upside down. And then, so this little curve is in the middle, but it's upside down. And then these lines are down here and they're dragging out. They extend them out almost like a jellyfish. And it looks really cool and really organic. And then other people draw it this way, but instead of ending them here, they come up and add little flowers or some, what is the tangle I'm thinking of? I don't know. It's a little organic Zentangle one. Sprinkle, is that what it is? Sprinkle, where they kind of have these little top things. So you can really play with this and just have it stop here or have it continue out. And look at that. We don't even know what it's meant to be, but it was relaxing. It was amazing. I love the thickening and thinning of the lines. All right, if you need to pause a moment to catch up, that's okay. I'm going to do my shading right now. So to shade this, I'm going to go around the outside of this middle area. And I'm going to go around the outside, the inside edge of the outer edge of the whole Mirth. So I'm just adding some graphite right along that edge. And up here as well. And then also these side areas here, because those are tucking in behind. And then just gently push that into your paper while also pulling it away from the edge. And look at that beautiful pattern. I think we need a little bit inside here as well, where it's kind of tucking in there. It's going to have a little shadow. There you go. And you could embellish this by adding some little orbs or some fescue, but it's so beautiful just by itself. I think it's amazing. Okay, that is Mirth, and we get to add it to our compilation piece now, if you're doing the compilation piece. And I love that it's like the complete opposite of yesterday, where we had the squares and very geometric. Now we get to do these wavy lines, and it's much more organic and fluid. Okay, so where should Mirth go? I feel like it should go up here. I think that's where I want it to go. I think I want it to kind of connect these two things here. And I may end up with some white space up here that I can fill in later, because I don't want to tuck it up too far. I really want to be able to see the middle part of the pattern. So I'm thinking right about there. Okay, let's zoom in. All right, I don't like this one being all alone over there. It needs to be connected to the others. Okay, if you would like to do this part in pencil, so you can kind of see how it fits in, you know what, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use pencil as well, just so I can see where it's going to fit. So I want this top bump to be up here. And then it's just going to come down and be a funny little shape. Okay, that's gonna work, I think. So I start with, in the middle of this blob, I'm gonna put that little smiley face and put in that first line, and then another that kind of curves, and another. And then I ink these in on the edges just a little bit. This really takes kind of a steady hand. It's kind of a difficult one to do sometimes when your hands are kind of shaky. Just do your best. Okay, now I'm going to curve this around and ink in those spaces. I'm going to make mine a little bit larger. And then we do those little, I think they look like little mustaches coming down this way. And I like how this gives that curve so that all of these end up having a little bit of a curve and of movement to them. They're not just straight out. I love how darkening these edges, these bottoms, kind of makes it feel like it's grabbing the edge of that piece. And curve yours on purpose a little to give them a little bit of movement. And remember to try to make that really a smooth transition going up into that line. It looks almost alien-like. See how many lines I can fit in there, and then try to do some thickening. I love the difference between this one and the shaded one. It's amazing how that shading changes it completely. So when we compare this to Middleton that we did yesterday, Middleton is amazing. Like, look at how cool it is. But we really had to think of each step in order, or else it kind of gets messed up. And if you put your, your dark square in the wrong place, it gives a very different look. The way that you turn them gives a very different look. And it just feels like there's a lot of room for mistakes, even though, it's not even meant to be anything. It's okay if we make a mistake. But something like Mirth, where it's not meant to look like anything, it just looks so cool. And you don't have to think too hard. You just have to put in another line, add some thickening. No particular order. I like how that fits in there. That looks really cool. Okay, are you ready to add some shading, or did I go too quickly? Should I give you another minute? Maybe I'll do that. I love comparing the two, the shaded and the unshaded. Such a difference. Okay, I'm going to begin shading. So I'm going to go underneath this circle here in the middle, that C shape that we did. Don't be afraid to press down hard. Put a lot of graphite there. It's a nice big thing that we drew. Same thing on these edges. Don't be afraid to make it nice and dark. We're just going right over the top of all of that thickening that we did. And then go on the sides and a little bit in the bottom of that. See how dark I made mine? I made it really dark because I want it to be able to push up into this pattern. So squeaky, I'm sorry. And just try to make that a smooth transition. Dark to light. We want this middle part to be really light. Look at Mirth. That looks so cool in there. I really, really like how that looks. So with each of these tangles, we've been giving a shadow on the outside. So I'm going to aura this and then give that aura a shadow so that anything else we draw will look like it's going underneath of this floating Mirth creature. So I'm going to give it an aura all the way around. And then put graphite on the outside. And look at how that little aura with the shadow really makes that Mirth just sort of pop up off the page. I think that looks so cool. I love how that turned out. All right, so we've got more tangles coming up. I hope that you are having as much fun as I am. And I have loved on Sundays checking Facebook. I do show and tell Sundays on Let's Tangle. And I love seeing how your pieces are coming along. And those of you that are not doing the compilation, I love seeing your sketchbooks, your cards you're making, however you're doing it. It's just so inspiring. So great job. Love it, love it. If you would like to get my newsletter, you can go to www.minsofzen.com. I do have a subscription box coming out November 1st, so you can get on the wait list for that if you would like and check it out. And thank you so much for joining me. I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.